Hi there, it's Miracle. Today I want to continue talking about nonfiction books in Nonfiction November and talk about 3 books that I had my eyes on. And they are all historical nonfiction. They're all about women's life in the history of the United States. I actually didn't realize they're all about women in the United States until I put this small list together. I haven't read those books yet, but I have a great interest on them, and I think they are great topics to read back to back because of the similarity in their topics. The first book is the one that inspired this whole video. It's called The White Devil's Daughter: The Fight Against Slavery in San Francisco's Chinatown by Julia Flynn Seiler. We all know that San Francisco had one of the oldest and the most famous Chinatown in the world. It loaded with restaurants and attractions for people to visit every year, but the establishment of the Chinatown in San Francisco was a piece of sad and tragic history. This book reveals the dark history that lies in the first century of San Francisco Chinatown, focused on the human trafficking of young Asian women, mostly Chinese. And they are trafficked to be slavery and prostitutes, and there's a building called Occidental Mission Home which served as a gateway to rescue those girls. From the premise of the book, I sense it's more about the Occidental Mission Home rather than talking about the story of the trafficked girls of their own. So I have a little bit of concern here because I don't want to read a story about a group of people or a group of organization being so great and they saved and rescued a lot of other people. I really prefer a story about the people who was helped because I think besides being helped, they must had great effort to survive. But I think that's something that I need to read this book and get to my own conclusion. The second book I had my eyes on is called The Radium Girls: The Dark History About America's Shining Woman by Kate Moore. This book was centered around the time where radium was first discovered as an element, so a lot of industries and companies were very excited for the discovery of radium because they got to include that element into their product line to make perfect. Naturally, a lot of young girls was hired and to work in radium dye factories. This was a fantastic job for them until they become mysteriously ill. This book was about those young girls, the way they became sick, and more importantly, the fight they took on after they discovered that the company that they're working for is ignoring their responsibilities. I discovered this book kind of by accident, and I went on Goodreads to check out the review of the book and very happily found a lot of my booktube friends giving this book a very positive review. So I'm very excited for this book, but I also anticipate it will be a very hard read because of the topic matters. Last book on this small list is called 9th Street Woman: 5 Painters and the Movement That Changed Modern Art by Mary Gabriel. The book is about 5 intelligent but more importantly, hard-working female artists. They bravely step into a male-dominated world of abstract art and influenced and changed the art history of America. I don't know the life story about those artists who got included in this book, but I definitely enjoyed their work before. And I hope this book can give me some concrete stories about their life, art, and their effort to build a community that served as a bridge to later female artists. The only thing that worried me about this book was the length of the book. It's almost 1,000 pages book. Although I already decided to read it as an audiobook, but it's a 40 hours audiobook, so I'm still very nervous about the length. Well, those are some historical nonfiction that I'm interested in at the moment, and I discovered that I really like historical things, both nonfiction and fiction. So maybe I have the interest in history that I didn't even know before. So because of that, I want to explore more historical nonfiction. So if you have any recommendations about historical nonfiction, or you just want to simply say hi, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. And don't forget to happy reading. Oh, thumbs up to this video if you enjoy it. And yeah, I'll see you in my next bookish video. Bye!